Gary Sassaman, Director of Print Publications for Comic-Con. It's a great honor to be here today, especially the day after Walking Dead 100 came out. And it's also my honor to be here today with both these gentlemen, Charlie Adlard and Robert Kirkman, to bestow upon them, on behalf of Comic-Con International, Comic-Con's Inkpot Award for Excellence in Comics.
Do more panels. I didn't know they just give you awards when you come in here. Thank you very much. Awesome. I want to have two. That one's got your name on it. So thanks for coming. Oh, hi, Caitlin. Is that this one? Is this you? Okay. It's all right. Sure she is. Look, people do these panels and they organize things and they do slideshows and it's all a lot of fun and everything, and I'm very busy and I'm tired, and I just thought it would be fun to get out here with Charlie and chat about The Walking Dead a little bit, open it up for questions. I think there's a mic there if anybody wants to start lining up. I made sure that Charlie's mic was off, because he has this weird British accent and nobody wants to hear that at all. Please don't, no, it's on purpose, don't talk. There you go, try it now.
Hello, everyone.
Talk too much, man, come on, what are you doing? Jeez, man. But anyway, I am going to do everything I can in my power, and I'm going to ask that Charlie do the same, to not spoil the contents of Walking Dead 100, because I imagine that there are at least a few of you that haven't read it yet. Is that true? Anybody? Okay, I'm hearing a lot of...
Yeah, there's one person over there.
That's good, that's good. Well, as long as you bought it, I don't care if you ever read it. I will say... And so I do ask, if you have a question that pertains to that issue, if you could please just, say that thing or instead of actually like spoiling it. I did a panel a couple of years ago, and actually I think it was like 6 months ago and I just don't remember. But Breaking Bad season 4 had just wrapped up, and the guy totally spoiled the end of season 4 like 6 hours after that episode had aired, which would have put it at like 2 or 3 in the morning, so that makes no sense at all. But anyway, and I was fearing for his safety. The entire panel room was pretty upset. So I lied and was like, he's just kidding, that's not what happened. But anyway, let's try and be respectful of people who can't get off their ass and read a comic book that came out 24 hours ago. I mean, Charlie, would you like to add anything at all, or should we just go into questions?
I think you're doing very well on your own.
Thank you.
Well done.
Before we get into the questions, because I do enjoy talking, I do want to say that everybody loves The Walking Dead, and I think everybody in this room, I think, loves The Walking Dead. There's some people. Trust me, I get some emails. Not everybody loves The Walking Dead, but and I've been to a couple of message boards. It's very upsetting. But we did a really cool thing that I'm really proud of, where we ramped up the schedule and put the book out every 3 weeks in order to get issue 100 out in time for Comic-Con. And I did that all by myself, and I just wanted to say that in front of Charlie. But no, seriously, you would not get The Walking Dead in any kind of regularity at all if it wasn't for Mr. Adlard. He is constantly saving my ass. not too many applause. And just doing such an amazing job on the book, and I feel so fortunate to have been able to work with him for the last, I don't know what the number is, like 400 issues or something. I really appreciate you. Just saying. All right, let's open it up to some questions. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
How you doing, Mr. Kirkman, Mr. Allard? I just want to say that you did write that you thought, or you felt that your comic wasn't the best in the industry today, and I disagree with you on that.
Well, you're wrong.
I think so.
Best art.
All right. In the survival guide, it's kind of going back a little bit, when it goes in alphabetical order, when it got to Davidson, there was just like a little shadow figure, and it kind of left a little, maybe, I don't know if it was a clue or if it was done on purpose, that maybe he was still alive and he might be out there and have some role left to play. Is that true?
No. No, much like Andrew, who disappeared after he left the prison and you never saw him again, I like to do things like that where you think it's going to be a normal kind of plot that you would expect to see in fiction, where they set something up and it's like, that's going to pay off, that guy's going to come back and it's going to be crazy. And that to me seems like story. And I like the idea of things happening in The Walking Dead that are more like real life. Just a little bit, every now and then, not too much. Where, you know, there's this guy and there was a horrific thing where he was, you know, kicked out of the thing and they're pretty sure he's dead, but he's out there and nobody knows, and that's it. You know, I like that. It's like that awesome, I think he was a Russian dude in that episode of Sopranos that like beats up like 10 guys in the woods and then just disappears. And I remember being frustrated, so I know how you feel. But I don't know, I think that stuff is kind of cool. So we will probably never see Davidson again. Charlie, don't tell them about how Davidson shows up in issue 103.
Also, do you like to kill, like, survivors that are really trying to be happy, like, you know what I mean? Like, the ones who are talking.
You're struggling, I do appreciate that.
I thought you were going to try to dance around the issue.
I get what
There's
you're
two
saying.
characters that died recently, and in both of those comics, they were both like, well, I'm happier with this person. Bam, I'm dead. Now, I'm doing this. I want to get away from you, Greg. Damn, I'm dead.
Well, listen, you know, I'm always working through some issues, you know? So yeah, no, that was not necessarily on purpose, but I do like to do things where you're like, oh, that guy's got story ahead of him. So
No,
they're safe, and it's like, no, they're not. But yeah, I don't know. I just called Charlie up and I'm like, who should we kill? And then he picks, so it's all his fault.
Also, can I have a sketch cover of 100?
No, you may not.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I read all the graphic novels that you guys made, and I'm going to say that they're all fantastic. I love them. I read them all in my local bookstore. And I was wondering, are you guys going to continue the story still on for the next couple of decades?
Nope, we're done.
But my question is, like, is there a certain end that you guys have established?
Well, we have talked about an ending, but whether we do it in the next 2 years, 10 years,
just keep
20 years, you know, who knows?
I think I can speak for Charlie. I'm not going to do any more mic turning off jokes because I've gone to that well way too much. But anyway, we love what we're doing. And this is genuinely what we set out to do with our lives. And to be able to tell these stories with these characters and know that, you know, I'll be able to tell stories with this guy and follow this story through. If it takes me 80 issues, I can get to the end of this and I can really, like, you know, dig in and really work with these characters and, you know, watch Carl grow up on the page if we don't kill him. You know, it's something that I don't think we would ever, you know, I can't fathom ever not wanting to do the comic, you know? I can fathom a point where there's not 100,000 lunchboxes and 5 board games and a puzzle and, you know, an energy drink and all that other stuff. But I think that we'll still be doing the comic after that point. And, you know, we have, you know, like a vague ending in mind, but that's actually just in place if it gets to a point where we can't sustain the series anymore and you all seem to hate it, and then we're like, well, those 20 guys still reading it, we'll do something cool for them, and then we'll hang ourselves together or whatever you do after you end a title that you've been working on for so long.
I didn't notice the suicide pact.
Yeah, I think Dave Sim and Gerard, is that how you say his name?
Hard.
Yeah, they're both hanging from a door together right now. People just haven't found them. But anyway, that didn't go over well. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. We have it in place just in case we need to, but the plan is to go on for a good long time.
Good.
I should have just said that.
Hey guys, thanks for the comic. I love it. Now I realize this might put you on the road to finalizing the comic, and we don't want to cut it early, but...
I just answered this question, man.
No. On the horizon, are we ever going to find out what caused the infection?
No. No.
Thanks for nothing.
Well, no, listen, hold on. So, just to ramble on for fun, the thing about The Walking Dead to me is that aside from the dead people up and walking around and eating people, it's a fairly realistic portrayal of, you know, how the end of the world could possibly go and what it would be like to survive in that kind of a world. And I think anytime you sit down and go, well, how are those guys walking around? You know, and any explanation you come up with would be really science fiction-y, or it would be magic or something, and it would take the story further away from realism, and so I prefer to ignore it. You don't need to know how stuff happens. It just has to be interesting.
Hello.
What's up?
First off, congratulations. Yeah, this is awesome. Apparently, like a couple of years ago, like no one knew, cared who the hell you were.
I don't say that. I wouldn't say
No, hey man, hey, whatever. And I guess, you know, a couple of years ago, like I just saw Max Brooks. Somebody asked him point blank, hey, what's going on with World War Z? And he said, not my business. But congratulations to you. I want to know, like, God, man, the comic book, I can't even say anything because my girl hasn't read it, and so I'm like stomping my foot, read the fucking comic so I can talk to you about this.
Hey, get a new girl.
My girl's dressed like a zombie. She's right over there. She's more undead than any of you.
I'm sorry, I was only joking.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's
There's
fine.
plenty of women
That's
here
fine.
that have read Walking
I want to
Dead.
know is how, if I told Rick Grimes to go himself in season 3, how's he going to do that with his left hand? How are they going to do that? There's so many things that your comic does that just makes people, they turn the page and they go, oh, yeah. How are they going to do that on TV? Because I really don't think people are ready to see that in a mainstream media kind of sense. Like, I've been to places where the world has fallen apart, I've seen it firsthand, and when you see it firsthand, I saw it in a comic book, and I said, holy, yeah, how are they going to do that? So, how do you think they're going to do that? Season 3, season 4, season 5, season 6? Enjoy your millions, sir.
Well, I mean...
But give me something. Jesus.
Well, I think the TV show's already demonstrated that it can go further than any other TV show already, so I think it's just a question of pushing the boundaries just a little bit further and see what we can get away with.
When he does give me the finger, will you make him look at the camera, sir?
Yes, let's see if I can do that. Just for you.
Wow. First off, like, you guys are amazing. I love this show so much, and it's actually one of the reasons that I watch TV at all.
We're only talking about the comic here. I'd like to ask you to please sit
I know. Sorry. I had to go there. Sorry. But, like, talking about the characters, how well do you think the actors in the show actually portrayed the characters that you wrote?
They're just terrible. I think. No, they're all amazing, and it's a boring answer, but it's true. I think. I mean, you would agree. Like it's uncanny just how well they embody the characters from the comic.
Yeah, I mean because they're yeah, obviously The Walking Dead is a show. Apart from the zombie apocalypse,
it is a show.
Based, forgive me, I'm jet lagged. No, I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry. Andrew Lincoln is amazing.
because obviously our comic is based arguably in reality. You don't necessarily have to get actors that look like the characters. That would be an absurd sort of situation to be in. So you want the actors to basically embody the characters, not necessarily look like them. Yeah, we've been kind of fortuitous in some of the guys actually do look like our visions of the characters, but and in total contrast, some of them don't look anything like. But it doesn't matter. It's how well they act. The character is what matters.
And it always brings a tear to my eye when I see new scenes and stuff. So they're all doing a great job.
Yeah, amazing.
Thanks a lot.
Hello, I'm a huge fan. I have to admit, I'm an Invincible fan first, but I love The Walking Dead too.
There's another panel later where we can talk about Invincible, but for now.
But I think we can all agree with The Walking Dead, the most messed up stuff in the entire world always seems to happen to these characters. And Robert, obviously you write them, but Charlie, I was wondering if you ever get a script from him and you're like, what? He wants me to draw what? That's too much.
Well, the only time I've ever phoned Robert up directly after reading a script was the torture issue. And I actually said, you've really got to convince me to draw this. And he did, obviously. He just waved a big fat check under my nose.
Thank you.
But it was interesting because in, shall we say, issue 100, I won't say anything else, but Robert was going to send me lots of reference, but apparently it was so sick and messed up that even you couldn't bring yourself to send me the reference.
Yeah, I was like, I want this to be a realistic portrayal of, gory violence, and a lot of times you don't even realize, that the human body doesn't really do what it usually does in movies and stuff when you see it like torn apart and stuff. And so I was like, I'm gonna just get on the internet and look at those horrific websites where you see, those things. And then I was like, no, I'm not. Then I even talked to my wife. I was like, look, if I'm acting weird later today, it's because I'm just gonna be surfing the net. And if you get on my computer, I just want you to know that I'm just trying to do some research for this scene, and I kept trying to build myself up to it, and then I was just like, now let's just fake it.
Well, it's a kind of bizarre job, really, doing what we do in a lot of ways, because if we were ever investigated by some police, whether it's the FBI in your country or in my country, whatever, and
the BBC, I don't know.
And they would find, sort of references for lots of guns, lots of military hardware, various websites about, various traumas to the body, things like that. It's a pretty bizarre sort of computer history.
Well, I'm not spoiling anything, but Eugene has been talking about how he's trying to attempt to make bullets because he realizes that they're running out of ammunition. That's something that's been going on in the, most recent issues. And I have been doing an insane amount of research on how to build homemade, how to manufacture bullets. And every time I'm doing it, I'm just like, I don't, this is not going to end well. So if you're listening, FBI, it's all for comics.
Hi, my question for Robert. I was wondering, towards the end of issue 100, the thing with the guy
yeah, we got
with the weapon,
yep.
When he's picking people, with the stuff that he says.
You're doing so good.
I know, I'm trying my best.
Yeah?
The stuff that he says when he's trying to pick the person, did you do that to pick the person that the thing happened to, or did you already choose
No, I had already chosen. Yeah, that was set up for a long time. That was always meant to be the introduction of that villain, and it was also supposed to be, you know, that
Death of that
yes,
guy.
the death of that individual. And funny story. I was actually sitting in the writers' room in like February, and we were talking about the show, and we were talking about some of the characters, and we were talking like things that go on in the comic and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this and this, and it's leading to this, and then this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and he's dead. And all the writers in the writers' room were like, what just happened? Why did you do that? And it was because I don't even remember why. We were just talking about that character, and I was telling them things, and I just kept going with what the story was, and then I thought to myself, like, I shouldn't spoil it for these people. And then I was like, these are the writers on the Walking Dead show. They don't care. This is ridiculous. Like, we work on these characters like all the time together, and like I'm just gonna tell them, but they were definitely pissed. So, but what I'm trying to say is, no, I did not randomly decide on the page what was gonna happen, but I have done that before. You know what, listen, these panels are a lot of fun, and sometimes I admit to these things because I think it's interesting and it's funny to get this information, and I like sharing information with you guys, but every now and then I get flack on the internet when I admit to changing my mind or doing something, and it's like, that guy's just coasting, what's he doing? But I think it's very interesting. I was writing 97, which I'm not going to spoil, but I wrote the end of 97, and then something very cataclysmic and shocking happens at the beginning of 98. I did not have that planned when I wrote 97 and he drew 97. When I sat down to write 98, I was like, this is bullshit. Like, this would not happen. This person would not survive. This book is lame. I'm just gonna do this. And so that's why that happens on page 2 of that issue. If I had it planned, I probably would have done the lame thing of having it happen on the last page of 97, but anyway.
And of course, that's why I got a script, and I was completely surprised as well.
I
was like, you didn't tell me about this?
Because I didn't know.
Huge fan, I already kind of left the note on your
Yep,
desk.
I got that. It's all covered.
You know, okay. So you make these awesome characters that can survive the zombie apocalypse very well. How would you guys do?
Really badly, I think.
You would do okay because you're in the woods in the UK and there's nobody around you, right? You do all right. Well, no, you live in a fairly rural area, right?
No,
You okay?
yeah, I mean,
All right, you're right. No, I would do horribly.
I live in leafy suburbia.
People would want you in their group because, I mean...
And that would be very foolish. They'd be like, you write The Walking Dead, like you can like figure out how we can survive and like what's gonna happen and what weapons we need. And I'd be like, I can write you comics. Now, where are the Cheez-Its? Are we out of Cheez-Its? Because I don't know what to do. So.
Thank you very much.
They'd be like, now we're gonna run, and I'd go, I'm out.
How you doing, guys?
What up?
I got a question. A lot of people, you've said it countless times that you won't do stories about what's going on somewhere else, and you really don't want to worry about that. You're focused on the group. So hypothetically, since you're never going to see anywhere around,
Question is already pointless.
in your mind, since you are the god of the, you are
Unicorns don't exist, but if you had a unicorn.
in other places, where are you picking? Because I know since you're from
The bottom of the
overseas.
ocean. I would do The Walking Dead Atlantis. And it would just be everyone drinking like underwater lemonade going, they're not down here yet. It'd be a pretty boring comic. Where would you go? What would your Walking Dead spin-off location be of choice?
Dead in space.
There you go. Now, I will say, television show-wise, it would be like Hawaii or something because, like, Georgia is hot. And, I guess Hawaii hot too, so that doesn't make any sense. But you know, there's like a beach and stuff, and I will say I've honestly never been to Hawaii, so I don't know. But people say it's nice. So Lost looked cool, and it was shot there.
How messed up would the West Coast be, though, in your mind? This is hypothetical.
Well, the West Coast is already kind of messed up. So yeah, no, I mean, although I will say, I'm just gonna talk like it's just boring now. But no, I was in Kentucky, and there's like drought conditions in Kentucky, and like the grass is yellow and the ground is dry. It feels like you're walking on straw, and it's because it hasn't rained in like 4 weeks. And then I come back to LA, and everything's like lush and green, and it hasn't rained in like 7 months. And I'm like, so I guess the irrigation system in California is like set up for that stuff, and that's kind of impressive. So I think the West Coast will be fine. I changed my answer.
I win.
Hey guys, Robert, Charlie, how you guys doing today?
You know.
Good, you know. So I wanted to actually discuss about the...
You just won awards, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, actually that's what I say, swag, you know, it's pretty legit. So, but what I wanted to actually discuss about was actually the Walking Dead game by Traveler's Tales. I really have to actually give them credit. They're a great game. Everyone should play it if you haven't. And but what was the idea about it, how surrounding with especially that new group that you had? Did you actually involve yourself a lot with the group in terms of like, say, Lily, which was actually the one who actually, you know, killed the baby and everyone else?
Yeah. I'm pretty proud of the fact that the comic book, the TV show, the Telltale video game, people seem to like them. And the really cool thing about that is like Charlie and I do the comic, and we're very proud of it. I work on the show with like 4,000 different people. So the fact that you guys like it is very much more because of their hard work than it is because of mine. And it's the same with the Telltale video game. Like I've been able to align myself with all these different people that are doing really great work on The Walking Dead, and I get to take the credit for it. So it's all me. But no, it's a fantastic game. I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, when Telltale set me down and they were like, hey, we're gonna have this system where you're making decisions and it's going to affect different like chapters and the game's gonna be like very different by the time you get to the end, and I was like, well, is that even possible? Like, that sounds amazing. So, you know, they really put in a lot of hard work and they deserve, you know, a lot of the credit. Not all the credit though.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert.
Thanks. I don't know about that.
I'm a really big fan of The Walking Dead, the show, and the comic. You guys, well, look at zombies a lot per se, but how do you prevent the nightmares? Don't pull the card that I'm a kid and I shouldn't be watching this because this happens to my parents, this happens to my siblings, it happens to everyone. So you guys have some technique or something?
How do you prevent nightmares, Charlie?
Get on that psychoanalysis couch.
Put your feet in a bucket of water when you go to sleep. I don't know.
Well, it's funny, drawing the book, it's kind of... Excuse me?
You can get it.
Drawing the book...
Yours?
Yeah, I can feel the vibration.
Turn the sound off or something.
Well, I turned the sound off because I kept missing calls.
I'm not here. Well, that was a mistake.
Who is it? No idea. No,
it's somebody from the UK. Flip your switch.
Anyway.
Come on, Grandpa. This is a movie theater.
Right. I'm leaving the book.
I've made a horrible mistake. I take it all back.
Oh, wait. No, it's kind of a weird, for me anyway. I kind of get all the, anything emotional, for want of a better word, out of the way after reading the script and sort of thinking about it. By the time it comes to physically drawing it, it's just marks on paper, literally. And there's a kind of a weird separation between myself and drawing. You know, I could be drawing sort of a madman, you know, battering to death pink, white, fluffy kittens, and I would have no emotional reaction to it, literally drawing it. So it all sort of comes out beforehand. So yeah, nightmares. Cool, I'll do it tomorrow.
So that's it's basically desensitize yourself to violence. Is that what your answer?
Yeah. Kill some hobos.
It's just comic books.
Okay, hello there. Hello both of you, to Robert and Charlie. And I want to know, I'd like to make a suggestion. Why not add some deaf characters to the storyline? I think it would be amazing to have a deaf zombie killer there. Why not?
I'm not opposed to that. I mean, normally I am extremely anti-deaf people.
I just thought I'd put the idea out there, and maybe people reading the book would say, wow, you have all these hearing people, but I think maybe having that deaf character there could make an interesting element change.
I agree with that. That's cool. Yeah. I will definitely take it under advisement.
Hello there. I have a question.
That's not a gun, is it? It's kind of dark out there. I can't really tell.
Not yet.
Somebody tell me that's not a gun.
But I apologize in advance if this seems kind of ass, but I just want to say I love the comic. It's the first one I ever pirated and then actually bought. That's all.
That had a happy ending.
But, I apologize if this question seems kind of controversial or dickish, but what's going on with the legal issues surrounding Tony Moore and you, and do you care to comment?
I mean, it's it's an unfortunate thing that I'm glad you asked me about. There's clearly a disagreement there, and we're clearly working through it, and I think that we'll soon be reaching a conclusion that we can both be happy with. So I'm fine with it.
Excellent. Hope you guys work it out.
Kirkman for president!
So let's talk about Negan for a second.
Okay, carefully.
No, yes, of course, no spoilers. What makes him different or more badass than, say, like the governor, who literally cut off Rick's hand and brought a freaking tank to his gates? What makes Negan so much more of a threat?
I mean, only time will tell. I will say that, he's only been in like 12 pages and you're already comparing him to the governor, so I think we're off to a good start. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot planned for the guy, and he has a cool bat.
Yeah, and he's also based on Henry Rollins, which makes him a lot more badass than the governor instantly.
Does Negan have a tank?
We'll have to see.
See?
I mean, we have
an Air Force.
There's a lot to learn about the Saviors, which is Negan's group. We don't know where they live. We still don't know exactly how many of them there are. We don't know what their living situation is like. We don't know if they're mobile. We don't know anything. So there's still quite a bit to learn there. And there is kind of an effort to go. Look, we're at issue 100 now. The governor was introduced in 33 and. No, he was introduced in 27. Don't get mad. And he died in issue 48, and people still, talk about him. And it's like, let's try and top that. Let's try and introduce a new threat into the book that can, at least match that level of intensity and be something memorable for the long life of the series. And so, I think we've got some really cool stuff planned for the guy. And I think he had a pretty good debut in issue 100. I don't know if you guys necessarily like him. But,
not at all.
It's kind of cool.
Thank you.
He's got a cool jacket. I really like that jacket, by the way.
Hi guys. First and foremost, Robert, I just wanted to say thank you because as an Asian American woman, and more specifically a Korean American woman, it's so nice to have a character like Glenn, which is such a departure from, sorry, I'm just gonna raise this, I'm a little tall. Such a departure from what we see in the mass media. Your portrayal of Glenn as someone who is masculine, a love interest for Maggie, it's just very positive and reaffirming, and I just want to congratulate you on that because we need to see more characters like that.
Thank you.
And
if only he were deaf.
Yeah, then it'd be perfect, right? So yeah, I just thought it was really important that that we appreciate that as a community, and yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. My question though is, writing, obviously, you can take certain liberties that are different than screenwriting, let's say, where you can write characters that you know will, I guess, can be unlikable or throwaways. And I'm just wondering if you do, with intent, write certain characters, like Carol, for instance, who, I don't know if anyone agrees, annoyed me, but do you write characters like that knowing that ultimately you will let them go and they'll fall away and then the audience will kind of say, I'm so glad that they're out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily like purposefully try to make characters that people don't like, but I do, like Carol, for instance, was a character that I purposefully wanted to write a weak and fragile human being who wasn't capable of surviving in this world, and I wanted to continually show her being weirdly dependent on people and unable to cope, and so that made her not likable because people were like, "What's wrong with you?" You know. And I do recognize that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a large cast, and I'm really just trying to, you know, portray these characters as realistically as possible and do interesting things with them. And you know, if they end up being likable or unlikable, I mean, I'm always, you know, aware that, you know, I'm doing different things that could possibly steer people in that direction. But to a certain extent, it's very hard to control like what the audience is going to respond to and what they're going to pick up on. So I just kind of roll the dice, and you know, if people don't like them a lot, I just kill them.
Thanks.
I just have a quick question. Do either of you have any plans or desire to be on the TV show in a cameo type character?
I was on the TV show. You didn't see me, but I was on it.
Yeah, in the opening scene when Rick comes around the corner in the premiere pilot, looking for the word, when he comes into Atlanta on the horse, he comes around the corner and there's this big wall of zombies, and then the zombies chase him on the horse and he falls off, and I don't remember what
I was in that wall of zombies.
He was there. He was there. And set your watches, kids, it's anecdote time. I was on set for that. Charlie was coming in and he was like, "I'm gonna be a zombie. Aren't you going to be a zombie?" And that's the extent of my British accent capabilities, as pitiful as they are. And I was like, "No, I am
Robert
not."
still believes London's shrouded in fog.
Just someone get a Bobby in here. This guy's getting annoying. But anyway. They're still called Bobbies, right?
No, not
Double-decker
really.
buses?
Yes.
Toast with like an egg on it somehow? I saw that in V for Vendetta. Anyway. I don't set books in the UK for a reason. I don't know anything about it. Are you guys still keeping time on this? So, I said, no, I'm not going to be a zombie because it's in Atlanta. You're going to be covered in latex and paint and all this, you know, thick blood and stuff, and I don't want to do it, and it's going to be horrible, and I don't want to see myself on camera anyway, so the answer to the question is I have no desire to be in the show at all because I don't like looking at myself in the mirror, let alone when I'm watching television. But anyway, no, it's just, I've seen this enough. It's not like I hate myself. I'm just saying. But anyway, I know I'm handsome. I kind of knew how miserable it was going to be, and Charlie was like, "No, you're crazy, it's going to be great." And then Charlie waited for like 5 hours to get put in makeup, and then got put in makeup, came in, was filming for like an hour and a half or something, and it was just sweltering hot. And the film, the scene was shot over the course of 2 days, and they had all the same zombie extras for the same 2 days, and Charlie was like, "I'm not going to do this tomorrow." And so that's why Charlie is not visible in the scene, because he gave up. He gave up because I was right. And then the next day he came and he wore a t-shirt, and we sat in the producer's tent and
in the
watched,
shade,
and we had a grand old time, and we sipped underwater lemonade, and it was fantastic. And you enjoyed that day much more?
I did. I much preferred that. Well, no, actually, I loved the process of getting made up, because I was lucky to be what they termed a VIP zombie, and so I got to go in the makeup trailer and have all the proper makeup put on, and I was prepared to even conquer one of my fears, which was having contact lenses put in. I'm really squeamish about anything to do with my eyes, and yeah, thankfully I'm not short-sighted or anything, so you know, I don't know. Yeah, if I was, I'd have to wear glasses. I couldn't wear contacts. And Greg Nicotero was sort of saying, well, you know, if you're going to be a VIP zombie and in the foreground, you're going to have to wear the contacts. So I was like, okay, I'll wear the contacts. And I was queuing up for the lens technician or whatever she was called.
It was actually just a person that showed up. They told you that to make you not nervous. Well, this is our lens technician over here.
And I was one person away from her, and the old hut was, you know, and then they called a wrap for the day. I was like, well, actually, I didn't know whether to go yay or whether to sort of be actually quite disappointed because I hadn't conquered my fear in the end, and I never will now.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to touch your eyeball right now. You ready? You ready?
Thanks.
Sorry. The disappointment registered in that thanks was much appreciated.
Sorry about that.
Thanks.
Gentlemen, I just wanted to echo some sentiments from before. I think you're both handsome men.
I think the sentiments before were that
But
I was
I'm more
a handsome
handsome.
man. Aw, that's true.
Last year, Robert, you said that, and I think...
Don't hold me to things that I say.
I think you'll agree. You said there was going to be no zombie dogs, no zombie tigers, as we've seen in some movies.
Zombie tigers do sound pretty cool.
Tigers?
Let's all be honest.
Have you ever seen that? Zombie Apocalypse with Ving Rhames? There was zombie tigers.
I'm going to be watching that. Is it on Netflix? I'll be watching that tonight. Because you said zombie tigers and Ving Rhames. Wow.
It goes downhill from there.
How did that movie not make more money than Avatar? Does he ride a zombie tiger?
No.
Okay, there's the problem.
That's one of the many failures of the film.
I'm going to call Hollywood. Go ahead.
But saying that, there is no animals. I mean, every once in a while you'll see a deer. But I was wondering, did y'all make a conscious effort to say in the comic, there's not going to be packs of dogs or pumas or...
Pumas?
In Georgia, there's pumas.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
There's no dogs. I thought maybe somebody'd have a dog by now. Maybe Negan would show up and he'd have a big dog with him.
I will say that Norman Reedus is just hounding Glenn Mazzara, and sometimes me, not really, about like having a dog. Like, oh, Daryl should have a dog. Come on, get him a dog. And so that is why there will never be any dogs.
I'll tell you a reason there's no animals in The Walking Dead, and that's just because I keep forgetting to draw them.
So, chickens. There's chickens in the
There's
hilltop.
chickens? They're not
I
zombie,
remember
not
typing
even zombie
those.
chickens.
Remember typing those descriptions? They're in the hilltop. They're walking. I don't know. Chickens walking around. Whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of description of it. Every paragraph is like blah 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 blah. Dialogue. Chickens walking. Chickens go past. In the foreground are chickens.
I think I was hungry.
Thanks.
I just wanted to ask, big fan by the way, have you taken any bath salts to inspire you?
Too soon, man. Too soon.
And is there
I'll say that I woke up, that incident was very not cool, and especially for me, if I can be a little narcissistic, because every day I would check my Twitter feed and it would be nothing but people like, did you hear about this? 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 Like 4,000 people telling me the same story about somebody getting their face eaten, and it was a little depressing. But then one morning I woke up and it was just someone tweeting me and it was a link. And I was like, I don't know, what the heck is this? And so it's like, I'm like brushing my teeth. Listen, I'm sitting on the toilet, all right? That's I'm trying not to say it, but it's true. So I'm sitting on the toilet. I wasn't brushing my teeth. I was gonna lie and say I was brushing my teeth, and then I was like, no, it's weirder to be checking your Twitter feed while you're brushing your teeth. That doesn't make any sense. So anyway, so I'm checking my Twitter feed, and it's just a link, and it's a photo of the guy in the hospital who had his face eaten, and I was like, this is my life now? Like, I don't want to see this. Like, don't send this to me. And that is why I didn't do the research on the whole thing with the, you know. So, because I was like, I can't do it. I can't see that stuff. So you're welcome, bath salts. I don't know.
My other question was, is there any characters that you wish you'd continue the storyline that you've killed off, and how they would be played possibly?
Who do you miss drawing the most, Charlie? Don't spoil any recent ones.
No, I miss drawing. I miss drawing actually. I miss drawing Dale.
Lame. I think I might miss Axel and Tyrese the most, but yeah, I really enjoyed Axel. I had a lot of fun with him.
Thanks.
But and the governor, I guess he was neat. But I get to write him again, so I don't care.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, my question is basically, out of all the survivors that we see in the comic, very few have been actually ex-military. Did you do this either based on story that you feel like you would want more people from broad backgrounds and more normal people, or did you do it like on practicality that probably most military people would have died in the initial response to the zombie outbreak?
It's a little bit of that. I mean, there was a lot of military early on in the early issues that you would see like dead from different battles and stuff, but I feel like it would be, you know, if there were a bunch of like capable military people around, it would not be that interesting because it'd be like, we did this, we succeeded. You know? And then if I put in a bunch of military people in and they weren't like accomplishing goals and doing things, I'd get letters like, "What are you saying? These people are inept. Like, what are you doing?" So yeah, you know, I just think it's more fun to watch people who are incapable of like protecting themselves and doing awesome things. You know, but there have been military people in the book, and there will be more. So,
thank you.
Cool. There's always like one person that claps after the questions.
My question is,
so calm down, calm down.
How do you feel about the differences between the comic which you originally wrote to the show? I mean, you said you wrote both, but like a friend in particular who hates the show because it's not walking that comic.
Wait, did you say you hate the show?
I have a friend.
Oh, you do, sure, yeah.
You have a friend, dude.
She's like, no,
your friend can kiss my ass.
Do you like include? Is it kind of like a second alternative to what you did have in the comic? This was what happened.
I like to call it George Lucasing, which has been controversial, but when I'm in the writer's room and I'm with the fantastic writers in the writer's room and they're, you know, doing their thing, I'm oftentimes like, this again, you know, like, I mean, not really, but like, it really excites me when we do new things. So when I look at the Sophia storyline from the show, I don't go, I wish I had done that in the comic. I have plans for her in the comic. She's still alive, spoiler alert. But that is a remarkable, like, gut-wrenching, like, really great story with a really great payoff. And when fans come to me and they're like, I wish the show was more like the comic, I'm like, no you don't, because that storyline doesn't exist in the comic, and that storyline is totally awesome. Like when she comes out, I'm just gonna spoil season 2, it's been a while. When she comes out of that barn, like, it's like this really powerful moment, and we haven't had a lot of those kind of really powerful moments in the comic, mainly because of Charlie's art. But I'm just kidding. But you know, I'm really proud of how the show, you know, goes its own way and does really cool things that you can't expect because they're not in the comic. And you know, I'm always pushing for that. Now I'm not saying like those are my ideas, they're not. I'm just saying like when things are being pitched around and it's something that like has altered the comic in a way that's better, I love that. So you know, I'm part of the problem for your friend is what I'm saying.
Has there been something that you didn't like that they put in the show?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it's not like I'm like, oh, the show is 100% perfect. You know, there've been like maybe a couple of things where like on the day it didn't quite like get filmed the way that whatever, you know, but like that's just TV. That's just how things go. And the fact is like it's still way better than, you know, it should be. I mean, the show is amazing. So sure, I could say like I've got a couple of little nitpicks here and there, but not really. I mean, I'm extremely happy with how the show's turned out.
Thank you.
Cool. Charlie, do you like the show?
I love the show. No, seriously, I do think, yeah, I mean, as a more, shall we say...
Was that a baby?
as a more, perhaps, shall we say, objective point of view, since I'm not as closely involved with the TV show, you know, I can sort of sit back a bit and see it for, yeah, see the wood for the tree, not see the wood for the trees sort of thing. And no, I think it works perfectly there too. They're joined and separate at the same time, which is really how an adaptation should be. And we've seen people screw up when they've gone really close to doing an adaptation of the original source, Watchmen,
put the claws away, man. Wow.
And it doesn't work, you know, and so the perfect thing is, TV is a different genre to comics. Film is a different, it's a different genre to TV. So you've got to adapt and do it how it should suit the medium, and I think the TV show does it absolutely brilliantly.
About the cutting room floor that it get cut.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What? Cutting room floor.
What do you mean?
It's supposed to have come out a couple months ago. Yeah.
What? That is news to me. I am going to call somebody. That's not out yet? What? So no one knows what we're talking about. No, there's a book called The Cutting Room Floor that I've been working on for a while that basically is, when I write a comic, I take a piece of typing paper and I plot the comic out on paper. And so it's this handwritten thing that is actually somewhat legible. And I usually write my script while looking over those pieces of paper and going, oh, on page 2 I want this to happen, okay. And sometimes I change my mind and sometimes I don't. And sometimes there are stories that I work out on those pieces of paper that I don't end up using. And so I thought it would be a really neat thing to do a book that collected them all. So theoretically, there's a hardcover called The Walking Dead Cutting Room Floor that collects all, like 50 of those. And on one page it'll have that note, and then on the other page it'll have me talking about like where I changed my mind and different things that happened. And there are a lot of cool things in the first 50 issues of The Walking Dead that, I mean, Charlie may not even know, because I'd just be like, yeah, they die. Nah, they don't die. And I would like work out stories, and there were different things. I mean, one of them, I'll just spoil it right now, Thomas, the murderer in the prison, was originally going to stab Lori in the stomach and kill her baby. You know, that was a thing that I had worked out, and I just decided not to do it because it's stupid. So, so like there's things like that, and I thought it would be a cool book, and writing the commentary is taking me longer than I expected. So it will definitely come out in the future. Tomorrow's the future, that counts, but it probably won't be tomorrow. But yeah, no, I'm trying to focus on that and get it done, hopefully before October.
Comic-Con next year?
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Thanks.
Could be the next Image United.
I, on the other hand, if I did a cutting room floor version of the artwork, it'd probably be more like a pamphlet. I do so little prep.
Hey, how's it going? Huge fan of the show and the comic. I was curious as to Robert, when you're writing, it's hard to separate the show from the comic, and when you're spending so much time on production on the show, it was hard to focus on the comic.
It's really not, just because the show is a reinterpretation of the past in the comic, and it's so far in the past, and the characters are so different now, and they've experienced so many different things, and a lot of them are dead. So the cast is almost entirely made up of different people that it's very easy to keep them separate, and working on the show doesn't like drain my Walking Dead muscles so that when I go to the comic I'm like, whoa, this again? And vice versa. Like, it just doesn't work that way. So yeah, I mean, I'm always like, oh, I'm doing the show. Oh, I'm working on the comic. And it's a lot of fun.
This mic stand is too short for me, which brings me to my second thing.
Everybody's complaining, man.
I don't know if there's enough tall zombies on the show. So I'm 6'5", and I was going to say more zombies.
Have you been measuring the zombies in
there?
More
tall zombies. Thank you.
I just hate tall people. I just can't stand them.
Tall, deaf zombies.
They're so entitled. It's like, you have everything. What do you want?
So, getting back to the whether they're military people or not, in the show, the first episode, the pilot had a semi-known actor who was in that Stephen King adaptation, I forget the name of it, The Mist, who's going to be in it. And then I heard that the first episode of season 2 was actually that character's story that sort of fed back into the guy who ends up in tank in episode 1.
Yeah. It was
Did
Sam
that actually
Witwer.
get shot?
It was Sam Witwer who actually plays the apprentice in the Star Wars. What's that called? That one video game? I love that video game. Sorry.
Did that end up getting?
Whatever.
I don't know the video game.
That's okay. I couldn't remember the name either.
Did that end up
Force
getting,
Unleashed, baby!
I have heard that one.
Nice job,
Did
guys.
that end up
The second game,
Did it
not so
finish
good.
the game?
First game, awesome. Second game, not. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, did that episode finish getting edited? Will we end up seeing?
No. That episode was never shot. I mean, I don't know. Sam, I don't think had a lot of information. I think he had talked to Frank like a while ago, and he like mentioned it on a panel, like, "Oh, I was going to be in this episode." And Frank came into the second season saying, "Hey, I've got this great idea for an episode. I want to bring back Sam Witwer, do this story about him and how he ended up in that tank." And Frank worked with all of the writers in the writers' room on the second season, and in developing the second season, we just decided not to do that episode. So there was never like this lost episode that wasn't done because Frank left the show. Like Frank decided not to do that episode. There was a lot of conflict with, closing down the streets in Atlanta and getting all that stuff done, and Sam's schedule against that show that he's on, Being Human. Thought I was going to forget it for a minute. But yeah. It just didn't come together, so we moved off of it, and that's why we, did the stuff that we did with the traffic snarl and all that.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's do rapid fire, and then they're going to kick us out. I think we've got like 0 minutes, so no one else get up to ask a question, and ask your question quickly. I'm going to stop talking now.
Oh, this kind of brought up, I was going to ask anyways, but your anecdote kind of forced me to ask a question. There's 3 pivotal moments in the comic book series that involve ocular injury. Are you doing it as an injury? Are you doing it as a therapy for Charlie to make him draw that, or is there any other inspiration? It's like, draw this now.
All those stuff with eyes.
I think we're just in a rut. We're like, what can we do? I don't know, mess somebody's eye up? That's good.
Awesome, cool, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, the next one will be a zombie that just comes up and just touches.
Hi, big fan
Hi.
from Texas.
Hey, great.
I just wanted to comment that I think Carl is one of the best developed characters in the comic book, and I think he will be in the show if he can just stay in the goddamn house.
He'll be much better developed if he's never in the house, because he'll be doing all kinds of awesome stuff, and you'll see some of that in season 3.
But I'm sure, I just wanted to comment on the fact that there's this great juxtaposition between what happens to his father and what happens to him, with Rick losing his hand, Carl losing his eye, both of them losing a brother and a sister. Spoiler alert. Was that intentional? And
was that a cough? What was that? Was that a car horn from the 20s? I don't know. All right.
We kind of see as
That happened a long time ago, buddy. Read up.
as Rick is gaining hope, Carl seems to be becoming kind of cynical and losing hope. Is this kind of comparison something that you're doing on purpose? Do you really want people to pay attention to that for further issues? Maybe you're going to touch on that in the TV series?
Yeah, I mean, the progression, I mean, it's all about Carl growing up in this horrible world and how it affects him, and how, children who aren't told how to react to things and have to figure out how to react to things. Like, Carl is growing up in an environment where he reacts to things that in our world are not normal and in his world are normal. And I love playing with how alien that is. I just gotta stop. Stop. No. So, you'll have to drag me off this panel. Rick is constantly having to, cross his own boundaries in order to protect his son, and so it's a core aspect of the comic, and it's definitely a core aspect of the show, and you'll be seeing a lot of that stuff in season 3. So please tune in to season 3 of The Walking Dead, coming in October on AMC.